Oh my goodness, royal watchers. Pour yourself a cup of tea and settle in because we need to talk about the absolutely mind-boggling delusion that's currently playing out with our favorite ex-royal troublemaker. Prince Harry's latest desperate attempts to force a reunion between his children and King Charles have reached new levels of manipulation, and I'm here to break it all down for you with the brutal honesty this situation deserves. Now, I know you guys are excited for more. But before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now, did you see Trooping the Color this year? What a magnificent display of everything that makes our monarchy so special. The pageantry, the tradition, the unity of the working royals coming together to celebrate our nation. And wasn't our beloved Princess Catherine absolutely radiant? Despite battling cancer, she showed up with such dignity and grace, proving once again why she's the perfect future queen. William by her side, their beautiful children behaving impeccably. This is what royal duty looks like, people. Meanwhile, across the pond in his Montecito mansion, Harry reportedly watched the footage with growing frustration and desperation. Not pride in his sister-in-law's courage, not happiness for his father leading his first trooping as king, but self-centered frustration because once again the spotlight wasn't on him and his grievances. Can you believe it? The audacity is simply breathtaking. According to royal insiders, Harry has been engaged in an increasingly desperate campaign to secure an audience between King Charles and his children, Archie and Lilibet. And his latest tactic? Using carefully crafted social media posts of the children as emotional bait. That's right. After spending years screaming about privacy and keeping their children away from the public eye, suddenly Harry and Meghan are sharing glimpses of Archie and Lilibet online. And the timing couldn't be more transparent. Let's be crystal clear about what's happening here. This isn't about the children's relationship with their grandfather. This is about Harry trying to force his way back into royal relevance, using the most manipulative tool in his arsenal, his own children. It's shameful, it's desperate, and it shows just how far he's fallen from the once beloved prince who seemed to understand the meaning of duty and family. The insider quote says it all. Prince Harry's desperation is at an all-time high. He's tried calls, even asking mutual friends, but nothing has worked. Sharing photos of them online is his way of saying, look at what you're missing. Can you imagine using your children as emotional pawns like this? As bargaining chips to try to wheedle your way back into the good graces of the family you've spent years publicly trashing? It's beyond comprehension. And let's talk about the delusion at play here. Harry genuinely seems to believe that after everything he's done, the Oprah interview with its damaging allegations, the Netflix documentary, the tell-all memoir that revealed private conversations and painted his family in the worst possible light, that all should be forgiven simply because he's now dangling his children as bait. That's not how relationships work, Harry. You can't burn down the house and then demand to be invited to dinner. What's particularly galling is Harry's apparent inability to understand the consequences of his own actions. He chose to step back from royal duties. He chose to move to California. He chose to attack the institution and the family publicly and repeatedly, and now he's shocked. Shocked that there's a distance between him and his family, that his children aren't being embraced as working royals in waiting. The disconnect from reality is staggering. Meanwhile, Prince William continues to demonstrate what true royal leadership looks like. During recent public engagements, he spoke beautifully about the importance of community, saying it takes a village to raise a family, while reflecting on the values he shares with Catherine as they raise their 3 children. While his comments were ostensibly about environmental action, many royal watchers believe William was subtly addressing the ongoing family drama, especially the distance between him and Harry. William's approach shows such maturity and wisdom. Rather than engaging in public spats or emotional manipulation, he focuses on his duties, on supporting his wife through her health challenges, on raising his children to understand their future roles, and on causes that actually make a difference in the world. The contrast with his younger brother couldn't be more stark. And let's address the elephant in the room. the constitutional reality that Harry seems unable to grasp. Archie and Lilibet, by virtue of their parents' choices, are effectively private citizens now. They will not receive royal protection, will not be included in royal registers, and will be treated as private individuals rather than members of the royal bloodline. This isn't a punishment. It's simply the natural consequence of Harry and Meghan's decision to step away from royal duties. The most delusional aspect of all this is Harry's apparent belief that his children could somehow be reintroduced into the monarchy after such a dramatic exit. As critics on both sides of the Atlantic have pointed out, his expectations for his children are completely disconnected from the reality of their upbringing. They are being raised thousands of miles away from Britain, with no connection to the traditions, duties, or day-to-day realities of royal life. The idea that they could simply slot back into the institution at some point is fantasy thinking of the highest order. Remember when Harry and Meghan first announced they wanted to be half-in, half-out royals? The Queen, in her wisdom, understood immediately that this wouldn't work. You can't cherry-pick the parts of royal life you enjoy while rejecting the responsibilities and constraints. And you certainly can't raise your children in California, shield them from all aspects of royal life, trash the institution at every opportunity, and then expect them to be welcomed as royal heirs. What's particularly sad about this situation is that King Charles is reportedly refusing even virtual contact with his son and grandchildren. He won't speak to me, Harry told the BBC, a quote that continues to echo across media platforms. But can we really blame the king? After being portrayed as a cold, unfeeling father in Harry's book, after having private conversations revealed to the world, after being accused of all manner of failings, is it any wonder Charles is keeping his distance? And yet, despite all this, Harry continues his campaign, hoping that by publicly showing the faces of Archie and Lilibet, King Charles might feel compelled to reconnect. It's emotional blackmail, pure and simple. It's using children, who should be protected from such adult conflicts, as tools in a public relations war. It's everything Harry once claimed to stand against when he cited media intrusion as a reason for leaving royal life. The hypocrisy is breathtaking. Remember how Harry and Meghan refused to allow any photographs when Archie was born? How they wouldn't even reveal where the birth took place? How they've repeatedly sued media outlets for supposed invasions of privacy? And now they're strategically sharing images of their children to manipulate public opinion and pressure the royal family. You couldn't make it up. What Harry fails to understand is that reconciliation, if it's ever to happen, must be built on trust, respect, and genuine remorse. It can't be forced through public pressure or emotional manipulation. It requires acknowledging the hurt you've caused, making amends, and demonstrating through consistent actions that you've changed. None of which Harry has done. Instead, he continues to play the victim while actively causing more damage. I can't help but think about how different things could have been. Harry could have maintained a relationship with his family while still stepping back from full-time royal duties. He could have found a way to pursue his own path without burning every bridge behind him. He could have ensured his children knew their royal relatives and understood their heritage without necessarily becoming working royals themselves. There was a middle path available, but Harry and Meghan chose the nuclear option instead. And now, faced with the consequences of those choices, Harry's response is not self-reflection or genuine attempts at private reconciliation, but more public drama, more manipulation, more using his children as pawns in a game they're too young to understand or consent to. It's not just sad, it's deeply troubling. The contrast with how William and Catherine handle their children's public exposure is telling. They share occasional photographs on birthdays and special occasions. They allow their children to attend major events like Trooping the Color. But they also fiercely protect their privacy and ensure they have as normal a childhood as possible, given their extraordinary circumstances. There's a thoughtfulness, a balance, a genuine concern for the children's well-being, rather than how they can be used to bolster the parents' public image. Harry's increasing desperation suggests his California dream isn't quite delivering the happiness and fulfillment he expected. The Netflix deals and Spotify contracts aren't providing the validation he craves. The mansion and celebrity neighbors aren't filling the void left by his severed royal connections. And so he turns back to the institution he rejected, demanding a place at the table he voluntarily walked away from. Using his children as the key to unlock a door he himself slammed shut. It's worth noting that throughout all this drama, the working royals have maintained a dignified silence. No public rebuttals, no leaked statements, no tit-for-tat media wars. They simply continue with their duties, supporting each other through health challenges and personal difficulties, presenting a united front to the nation and the world. That's real strength, real class, real royal behavior. Meanwhile, Harry's actions become increasingly erratic and desperate. The legal battle over taxpayer-funded security, the constant revisiting of old grievances in interviews, and now this attempt to use his children to force a reconciliation. It all speaks to a man who doesn't know who he is anymore. Stripped of his royal role, his military connections, and his place in the institution that defined him, he's flailing for identity and relevance. The saddest part is that Archie and Lilibet are caught in the middle of this adult drama. These innocent children didn't choose any of this. They didn't ask to be born into a family rift, to be raised an ocean away from their relatives, to be used as emotional leverage in their father's ongoing battle with the institution he left behind. They deserve better than to be props in their parents' public relations strategy. King Charles, for his part, is in an impossible position. As a grandfather, he may well yearn to know his son's children. But as the monarch, he must consider the precedent it would set to welcome back someone who has caused so much damage to the institution he's sworn to protect. The private man might want reconciliation, but the king must think of the crown first. It's the burden of monarchy that personal desires must sometimes be sacrificed for the greater good. William, too, faces a difficult balancing act. As a brother, he must feel pain at the estrangement from someone who was once his closest ally. But as the future king, he must stand firm against the chaos and instability Harry has brought to the monarchy. His comment about it, taking a village to raise a family, perhaps hints at his own sadness that his children don't know their cousins, that the close bond he and Harry once shared hasn't extended to the next generation. But ultimately, the responsibility for this situation lies squarely with Harry and Meghan. They made their choices they had every right to make, but seem unwilling to accept the natural consequences that flow from those choices. You can't publicly attack an institution and then demand its privileges. You can't move thousands of miles away and then complain about distance. You can't use your children as public bargaining chips while simultaneously demanding privacy. As Harry's desperation continues to grow with each passing day of silence, as he seeks any possible way to secure that meaningful audience with King Charles for Archie and Lilibet, royal watchers wonder whether these public gestures will move King Charles to action, or whether Harry's deeply personal appeals will go unanswered. One thing is clear. His mission to secure an audience between his children and their grandfather shows no sign of slowing, especially as his desperation grows. But perhaps what Harry really needs isn't a royal reunion, but a reality check. A moment of genuine self-reflection about the choices he's made and their inevitable consequences. A recognition that reconciliation, if it ever comes, must be built on mutual respect and understanding, not public pressure or emotional manipulation. And most importantly, an acknowledgement that his children deserve to be loved and protected for who they are, not used as tools in his ongoing battle with the institution he left behind. In the meantime, our working royals continue to demonstrate what true service looks like. Catherine, battling cancer with incredible grace and dignity. William, stepping up to support both his wife and the monarchy during this challenging time. King Charles, navigating his own health issues while fulfilling his duties as monarch. Queen Camilla, providing steadfast support to her husband and the institution. These are the royals who understand duty, who put service before self, who recognize that being royal is a privilege that comes with responsibilities, not just rights. As for Harry, one can only hope that someday he'll understand what he's lost. Not just titles and security, but the chance to be part of something greater than himself, to serve a nation, to uphold traditions that have sustained a monarchy for over 1,000 years. Until then, his increasingly desperate attempts to force his way back in, using his children as emotional leverage, will continue to be seen for what they are. The actions of a man who gave up everything for what he thought was freedom, only to discover it was just another kind of cage. What do you think about Harry's latest attempts to use his children to force a royal reconciliation? Is there any path back for him? Or has he burned too many bridges? And what about the impact on Archie and Lilibet? How will growing up as pawns in their parents' PR game affect them in the long term? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it insightful. Until next time, God save the king and our wonderful working royals who truly understand what service and duty mean. Bye for now.